Football night in Riverside, folks. Welcome to Arlington High School. It is the home of the Lions, Jeff. It is a Lion luau tonight. River Valley League opener for both teams. Ghazal Hassan back with you, along with Jeff Gorham. It is Arlington and Patriot tonight. Let's start with the home team, Jeff Gorham. Arlington's struggles have been scoring points. They put up 49 against Corona, but their other four games that combined 29 points, including a shutout last week against Canyon Springs. My guess is they're going to throw a wrinkle in, that wrinkle being the tight ends. We saw last week Adrian Mendoza and Mario Pelagi, their tight ends. They can do a few things. Perhaps Eddie Roy grows up a little bit tonight, the sophomore quarterback for the Lions.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you're going to do anything against this Patriot defense, you're going to have to spread the field because Arlington likes to run the football. It's smash mouth football. They're the CIF champs. That target is big on their back. And in order to be successful, they're going to have to spread this field.
All right, Jeff, now for the Warriors of Patriot, they've had to shuffle the deck a little bit. Their top running back, Josiah Felix, is injured. He's unavailable tonight, but a luxury for head coach Chris Fowler. He can just slide Brandon Lopez into that tailback spot. Lopez, if you'll remember last year, 1,400 yards and 16 touchdowns. But this is a big one for the Warriors. Their defense will need to step up against Arlington and try to keep that offense down as it's been.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to be smash mouth football to the extreme. They don't really like to throw the football, but they will pound it, and they have big guys up front that will take care of business.
It is Patriot, the Warriors, against Arlington, the Lions, coming up next, the CIF on Riverside TV.
California leads the nation in railroad trespass-related fatalities. In 2021, there were 243 trespass casualties in California. September is Rail Safety Month. Please do your part. And whenever you see tracks, always think train.
We are here with Patriot head coach Chris Fowler, getting ready to take on Arlington tonight on Riverside TV. Coach Fowler, the River Valley League, always fun, always competitive. I know it's the first league game of the season, but it's an important one, right, against this Arlington team to start carving your spot in the league standings, isn't it?
Yeah, I told the kids we had a great preseason, 4-1, the best preseason we've had, but everybody's 0-0 right now. Everybody wants to be with Ramona. They played last night and got the win over Hillcrest. We don't want to be climbing. We want to be on top. So we want to be those three teams that have the 1-0, not the 0-1. So, yeah, that first one kind of builds the momentum, kind of puts you in that upper echelon when you go into those next games. So that's where we want to be.
Coach, could be a fast game tonight. You love to run the football. Arlington loves to run the football. We might be home by 9 o'clock eating dinner tonight. But seriously, tonight when you look at this matchup, what do you think are the keys in this game against the Lions?
Like you said, they're going to run the ball. Who can stop the run? Who can not have the big play? We want the big play, but we're content at going 12, 13 plays, and I know they are as well. So, which one of us can shorten it and keep the ball away from the other guy? So, again, hey, I always tell people, hey, I want to be done by 9 o'clock because that means it's going according to my game plan. So, that's just it, and, make sure that everybody gets there safe so that we have a healthy game for everybody, and we put on a show for these fans.
All right, very good. That's Patriot head coach Chris Fowler.
High school sports are one of the things that make living in California so great.
But sometimes the behavior in the stands can overshadow our achievements on the field.
I love it when my parents show up for me.
But being booed for missing a play could be crushing.
And remember that refs are people too.
They're trying their best to call a fair and correct game.
Hey, and enough with all the swearing.
No one should feel insulted or ashamed
because of their race, ethnicity, or gender.
We should be able to hold our heads high after the match, win or lose.
Well, welcome back to Arlington High School. Ghazal Hassan back with you. Patriot and Arlington about to get going. The River Valley League opener for both teams as Jeff Gorham slides in beside me. Of course, you just met the third member of our broadcast team. That is Pep Fernandez down on the sideline. Always great to have Pep down on the sideline with us. And it is a Lion luau today, Jeff. Every week at Arlington, there is a theme. Last week, the theme was Arlington Things After Stranger Things. It was homecoming. This week, it's a Lion luau. Now, there was no pep rally this week at Arlington because they had the big one last week for homecoming. You can't do a big one like that every week, but they're out here in force and in spirit. And the Lions, Jeff, need a win.
I would have worn my linen pants if I'd have known it was luau. What is it? What is it called?
Lion luau.
The Lion luau. Oh, yes, I'm telling you, I would have worn my shirt, my Aloha shirt, my linen pants, and my flip-flops.
Get Yancey Dotson on the phone for a Hawaiian shirt.
I should have. I wish I would have known.
All right, joking aside, Jeff, you called the game last night, Ramona and Hillcrest, and the Rams look like they're the class of the league. You've seen Novi. They look like they're pretty good. I'm thinking it's going to be a mad scramble for that third spot, the third playoff spot out of the River Valley League, which means every game is at a premium. And it sounds funny. This could be a must-win game for both these teams, Jeff.
It is a must-win situation. I mean, you're talking about Arlington. They have a huge target on their back, like I said in the pregame. Everybody wants a piece of the CIF champs. And Patriot, who, wants to make the playoffs, this is a huge game for both of these ball clubs.
Freddie Madrid kicks it off. Nicholas Roman fields it about the 16-yard line, and he runs up, and he'll get pushed back. The first man there was Devin Lyman, and looks like they'll start at about the 19. So Patriot won the toss. They deferred. Arlington will start with it, and they need points, as we discussed in the open. Just 29 points in their 4 games. Aside from that 49-point outburst against Corona, they were shut out last week against Canyon Springs.
Yeah, and in that Canyon Springs game, I'm sure they're pinching themselves because it was not a clean-looking football game. There were mistakes made. And I'll tell you what, Arlington needs to redeem themselves tonight because last week was not indicative how good this team could be.
A big plus is Bijan Turner is back for Arlington, and a whistle as we get underway here. First play from scrimmage.
Yeah, that was the word around town. Was Bijan going to play today? In fact, I had multiple coaches calling me, asking me, hey, do you know if he's going to play? Being the guy that I am, I'm not going to say if I knew or not, but he does help this team very much, and he was needed a lot last week.
So the tight end to the near side is Adrian Mendoza. Split out to the top of your screen is Eric Barajas. Rogers will tote it. Rogers running inside off tackle, and he runs right into Austin Kramer. Giddy up, maybe a yard on the play.
I'll tell you what, a lot of questions surround this Patriot team because we haven't seen them because they haven't been on Riverside TV, and they kind of play outside of the area. And that's the big question mark. How good is this Patriot team? Are they legit, or is it fool's gold? That is the question that everybody's talking about in the River Valley League.
3-5-3 alignment for Patriot on the defensive side. It'll be interesting how Arlington attacks it. The ball on the turf, pulling out from center, and I believe Roy fell on it himself. And the Lions will keep it. 3rd down and 8 coming up.
I like what the Patriots, I like what they're doing. They're man-to-man on the one receiver, and they're putting basically 10 guys in a box. Very tight, no more than 10 yards off the ball.
Rogers to the near side. Turner, the fullback. Turn and give to Rogers. He's got some space. 25, 30. He's got the first down, and down he'll go at about the 32-yard line. Tackle on the play by Anthony Garcia, and the sticks move up for Arlington.
Well, I'll tell you what, we saw Rogers last week, and he had some bright spots in that ball game. He had some big runs, but they were negated by several penalties.
There were a lot of penalties last week on both sides, and Canyon Springs seemed to ride him a little bit more than Arlington did. So give the gain out to the 33-yard line, 11-yard pickup and a first down. First and 10 from the 33. Rogers in motion. Here's Turner, the T-bone. Bumbles through the first side, and then down he goes at about the 39-yard line. Tackle on the play by Brandon Lopez. So about a 6-yard pickup there, and Kevin Armagosa has to be happy that Turner is back in the lineup, Jeff.
Boy, that gives you a 1-2 punch. I mean, he was the foundation, really, of that offensive line last year as far as getting the big holes.
Kind of that Mike Allstott style of fullback who can absorb a lot of contact. Roman to the bottom of your screen, double tight set. Rogers tries the left side, slips through, and he'll be dragged down on that Lion Visage, nearly getting to midfield. Tackle on the play for Patriot. Lincoln Zepeda, the junior linebacker, brings him down, and another first down.
Well, I do know how important the weight room is to both Coach Kevin Argamosa. and Coach Covington. And I'll tell you what, we do notice it in those backs. I mean, they just churn, move those legs. That is sheer strength, and that is something different that we didn't see as much last year from this Arlington team.
10-yard pickup, handoff to the first man through. That's Turner. He's still battling, lunges forward for about a 6-yard pickup. How about that? Devin Lyman in on the hit. So give him 7. They mark it up to the 44-yard line of Patriot, and they're really moving the ball. And there's no surprise, Jeff. This is just line them up, slam into them, and let's go.
Yeah, Turner, though, came up a little limp on that last play. He just came out of the ball game and is trying to walk it off on the sidelines here.
He got a helmet to the knee against A.B. Miller. That's why he missed last week, as Rogers splits out to the top of the screen. Double tight end to the near side, so it's kind of simulating the unbalanced line. Here's the give. They'll run left. First contact, fighting through it is Rogers. He'll lunge forward for another first down. Tackle on the play made by Daniel Arredondo for the Warriors of Patriot. He's the 6'1 senior. Their linebacking core that's Alex Gomez. Gomez, Arredondo, Donovan Moreno, Austin Kramer, that linebacking core, and you throw Lincoln Zepeda in there. They're kind of the main part of that defensive unit.
I do like what Arlington is. They're a lot better than they started out last week so far here early.
To the 39-yard line of Patriot where it's 1st and 10. Roman to the top of the screen. This is Polito, the second man through. He'll lunge forward to the 32-yard line. 7 more yards on that play.
And there's another example of the weight room right there. But Patriot playing man-to-man on the outside, just with the whatever goes in motion. If they run a back into a receiver spot, they're going to take another man and put him man-to-man against each receiver. So they adjust in here. Let's see if they continue to push the ball up the middle.
Oh, yeah, they're going unbalanced here. Unbalanced again. That means 3 men to the left of the center. And I believe that was the runner on the play for Arlington was Corin Logan. So Corin Logan surges up to about the 30, inside the 30 of the 29. That's a first down. So Sticks moving up. And talk about smash mouth football, Jeff.
I love it.
So Durant to the bottom of your screen. Bijan is the fullback, Turner. They'll give to Turner right up the middle, running into the teeth of that Patriot defense. He's dragging Warriors inside to the 22, about 7 yards on that play, full contact on both sides.
A completely different team than we saw last week already, Gazal.
Well, I mean, the big boys up front doing the job. Abe Gonzalez up there, Ryan Harder pushing for Arlington. They're running that unbalanced line. I think that's maybe thrown off the Patriot defense a little bit. Chris Almendaris on that offensive line for Arlington as well. Now, they had a couple injuries. They've had to move some people around. Kyle Asker on the offensive line as well. 2nd down and 3. Now they'll throw, and it's deflected, incomplete. Applying the pressure was Alex Hernandez for Patriot. He's a senior defensive lineman. He didn't play, played as a freshman, didn't play the last 2 years for the Warriors, and he's back this year, and he makes it a 3rd down. So a big 3rd down coming up for the Patriot defense. Defense coordinator is Aaron Randall.
Is he the son of Lou Randall?
Indeed he is, the former J.W. North coach.
Holy smokes.
So 1st down to inside the 20. Durant to the top of the screen. Turner is the fullback. Rogers the tailback. Give to Rogers. Running the middle of that line. He'll be close. Goes down, I think, just outside the 20-yard line. Coming up from the bottom of the pile, Joshua Pearson, the junior, was around the football. See where they mark it. They'll mark it at the 21, so a 4th down and about 1.5 yards. What do you think here, Jeff?
Got to go for it. Got to just pound it up the middle. We saw their kicking game last week. I don't think they want to do that right now. Let's just pound it up the middle, see if we can get a 1st down. They've moved the ball well, traversed pretty darn far here.
Big decision here by Kevin Argamosa. He'll go for it on 4th down. The ball on the turf, and the Warriors come up with it. Looks like it was Alex Hernandez again. Johnny on the spot on the turnover. Would have been a turnover one way or the other had they stopped it, but that will go down as a fumble.
Yeah, and just like last week, the snake bite has bit early. They moved. Last week we saw them move the ball several times down the field and just came up empty-handed by mistakes. Not mistakes made by the defense, but by themselves.
So we'll flip it over, and the Warriors will take over. Warriors take over on the 24-yard line. And their quarterback is Isaiah Miramontes. He is a dual threat. We mentioned already no Josiah Felix today, but they'll slide Brandon Lopez back into the tailback spot, and he's pretty familiar with it. 1,391 yards last year and 16 touchdowns. Trips to the top of the formation. Here's Miramontes. He'll take it himself running right. Abe Gonzalez there, and I think maybe he got 3 on the play.
Hey, that's a high school career right there, and he did that last year. So not a drop-off at all. In fact, it gives you a different look. You know, they've played 5 games, and teams have scouted. This is a little bit of a wrinkle here for Patriot.
So a 5-yard pickup, 2nd and 5 coming up. Across the offensive line, Adrian Mendoza, Tristan Butler, Diego Amendares, Matthew Arevalo, and Christian Lopez for the Warriors. They're just as important as the front line for Arlington. Both these teams run that power. Here's Miramontes finding space. Flag on the play. He'll get up to the 40-yard line and be forced out of bounds there. Christensen makes the play, kind of standing him up, soccer style, as he goes out of bounds at about the 40. But I have a feeling, Jeff, that's all coming back.
It is. I believe it's going to be a hold. Yep. All right, coming right back.
Fred McAllister, our white hat tonight.
But think about this. Arlington goes almost 8 minutes with the football.
It was 4:40, so yeah, 7 minutes and 20 seconds.
And they don't score. I mean, that is a game plan you want, though. You want to take up all the time you can, but you got to get points on the board.
Yeah. Arlington lately, and excuse the bad pun, but they've been a little bit like AC Green. Just 29 points in their 4 games that weren't against Corona. Sorry, I just read that Perlman book, Jeff, about the Lakers in the 80s. Very interesting.
I have that book in my garage.
2nd down coming up, and it need to get to the 34-yard line for a first down, so call it about 2nd and 15. And now a penalty coming the other way.
There's offsides on the
It's like when U2 covered Helter Skelter. Charles Manson stole this song from the Beatles. We're stealing it back. Well, Patriot got a 10-yard penalty, and now Arlington's giving that back. That was on Rattle and Hum, if you remember. Okay, 2nd and 10. Lopez running to the right side eludes Gonzalez, trying to turn the corner. He eluded both Gonzalez brothers and surges up to the 32-yard line. So a little bit short. We'll need to get to the 34 for the first down. Clock moving. Under 4 minutes to play here in the first quarter. No score. Thanks for joining us. Ghazal Hassan, Jeff Gorham with you. Pep Fernandez down along the sideline, and I understand he's going to have some very interesting stuff. We got the Lion Luau going on, some special guests. Miramontes in the 3rd down play, movement up front for the big guy for Arlington. Was he drawn, though, is the question. And the second, that's a costly penalty because that'll give them a first down.
Yeah, how are we lucky enough to get Pep all these games now?
I threatened him.
That's exactly what happened.
It's like Frank and Sammy in the Rat Pack.
We had him in. Didn't we have him in the trunk of your car last week?
That makes you Dean Martin. You don't drink enough tea to be Dean Martin, Jeff, if you get my meaning.
Oh, I love the tea. I don't drink that as much as old Dino.
1st and 10 from the 36. Direct snap to Lopez, gets by Gonzalez. He's still dancing. He's got a first down up to midfield. Still going. Probably taking a page out of the Arlington book, and he gets over the 45. So a nice run there. About 22-yard pickup on the play for Brandon Lopez, and he gets to the 43-yard line on the Arlington side of the field. So no Josiah Felix. It must be nice to be able to hand the ball off to Brandon Lopez, who ran for nearly 1,400 yards last year.
He just ran like he was Earl Campbell. The only thing that he didn't lose was his jersey. for gosh sakes. That was just an amazing run. He took everybody with him.
Now, he was playing in the slot, so they slid him down to the running back, and now Devin Lyman takes over in the slot for Patriot. 1st and 10. Line is the 43. Lopez up the middle. Ridden down at about the 35-yard line, so 8 yards on the play. First man to him was Daniel Gonzalez, so he got around Big Brother Abe, but Daniel said, oh, no, no, no. Reminds me of Fast Johnny and Luke at the Gorham household.
Oh, yeah, you can't get by. When you come over to the Gorham house, they don't let you get anywhere.
They back each other up. So mark it officially to the 34-yard line. And 2nd down, so just short of the 1st down. It'll be 2nd and very short. So split out to the bottom of your screen is Anthony Garcia. In the near slot is Devin Lyman for Arlington. Split out to the top of your screen, Eloy Gutierrez. Brandon Lopez is the lone setback. And he'll get the direct snap. And he'll slide down. I think he's going to get the 1st down. Lost his balance and maybe a yard on the play, but I believe that moves the sticks.
There was a wet spot on the turf.
What do you think about that spot? Is that where his knee went down?
Oh, that's not a good spot at all.
It looks like, well, definitely for Patriot, not a good spot.
No.
I don't think it's particularly accurate.
I have to agree.
3rd down. Line to get is the 32. Gets around Castillo, does Lopez, and this time he will leave no doubt. He'll step out of bounds just inside the 30, a 5-yard pickup, and the sticks move up.
Would you say the fastest quarter we've had so far this year on Riverside TV?
Yeah, we're under a minute to go. That has gone by very quickly. First quarter sponsored by Usain Bolt. So Garcia split out to the near side, line in the near slot. Gutierrez to the far side. Miramontes claps his hands. He'll take it right up the middle following Lopez. And he'll be spun down by Akili Thomas at the 20-yard line. So about 6 yards on the play, and the clock continues to move. And we're still in the first quarter, but it is clicking away rapidly. And that'll be the end of the first quarter. No score. It looked like it started very promising for the Lions of Arlington, Jeff, but the turnover on the 4th down play, and now Patriot driving, heading into the red zone on the Arlington side of the field.
So basically, you get one possession each.
It's almost like rugby. We're watching rugby.
It is. This is like the All Blacks of New Zealand versus Germany.
Springbok.
Springbok
and the All Blacks.
Oh, people are going, what are they talking about? All Blacks is the greatest rugby club in the entire world.
You know what the New Zealand basketball team is called?
They are something to do with the All Blacks.
The Tall Blacks.
The Tall Blacks, that's right.
So we'll switch sides of the field now. Unfortunately, technical issues we're working on, and we've lost Pep Fernandez. And that would be bad. Like the old, remember that old Saturday Night Live sketch with Tom Hanks about the sibilance, about the feedback?
Yes.
Oh, feedback's bad. That's how I feel when we lose Pep. We'll get him back. Technical difficulties, we will sort those out. Instead, though, Patriot will run 2nd down from the 24-yard line. 1st down just inside the 21. And that'll put them in the red zone. So now split out to the near side is Raymond Villanueva. And it's still Garcia and Lyman to the top of your screen. Now there'll be a number of shifts. You know, I talked about the wrinkle for Arlington. We'll get back to it in a moment. 2nd down coming up. Direct snap to Lopez. Lopez 1st down, and Moore is still on his feet, still rumbling, and finally goes down inside the 5-yard line. They'll mark him down at the 4, so a 20-yard pickup for Lopez. Fred Lyons on the stop.
Oh, they have an opportunity here. Let's see if they just get off the field there in time.
1st and goal. Here's Lopez. Touchdown, Patriot. And the Warriors' defense holds off Arlington, and they come right down the field, 77 yards running the football, Jeff. And the Warriors of Patriot find pay dirt.
Well, they did exactly what they were supposed to do. Run the football, don't make mistakes, and don't turn it over.
Lopez with a 4-yard run here at 11:35 of the first quarter. Now, this is going to be an adventure. Here's Freddie Madrid on for the PAT. Low-line drive kick, but it's good. And we were talking jokingly with Chris Fowler, the head coach of Patriot, and he had all kinds of trouble in their win over Fontana. Now, they won 24-0, so they could laugh about it. But nice to see the young fella put it through the uprights. Like Elvis Costello, his aim was true.
It was.
And we got Pep Fernandez. Pep, we got you.
Hey, what's up, guys? I am back. I'm back here on the sidelines. We just saw Patriot go first 7-zip in this game. And you may have already pointed this out, but both teams with long, run-heavy drives to start this game. In fact, it was just one possession for each team, and we're already in the second quarter. Now, here on the Arlington side, they had a great drive. They had a couple first downs, but couple miscues on the exchange from center to quarterback, and that was some of the discussion here on the sideline. How do they clean that up? Because they had a great drive, but they did not have any points to show for it. Jeff Gazal, back to you guys.
Now, great point, Pep. To be fair, they've had to move around a little bit. They've had some injuries, meaning Arlington on the offensive line. And here's the return from the 16. This is Rogers. Rogers weaving his way to the middle of the field. He's got one man to beat. He'll angle to the outside. He will go 30. 25, 10, 5, to the house. 84-yard touchdown return for Luke Rogers, and he strikes right back.
Wow. If you can't score running your offense, you might as well score doing something else. That was incredible.
And that was just the second touchdown in 3 games for the Lions, and what a lift Luke Rogers gave them. I saw you holding your breath looking for flags. No laundry on that play.
I scanned every inch of that field. What a great play.
Like a teenage boy before the long weekend, no laundry. But at the end of that weekend, you know it's going to be, you raise a teenager. They're going to be clothes everywhere. 11:21 to play. Here's Javier Hernandez on to try to tie it. Blocked. So 7-6. 84-yard kickoff return, though, by Luke Rogers. You know what he did, Jeff? He used the force.
He did. Luke.
Now, you have a son named Luke. I'm sure at some point he'll return a kick for a touchdown.
I sure hope so. You know the story. I told you about that is, my son is named Luke. My other son is named John, and then you have Connor. That's kind of not biblical. But John was my dad's name.
Right.
So we said, it'll be biblical and so forth. And then I said, oh, how about Luke? And she was like, oh, that's biblical. That sounds fantastic. And then I said, let's do his middle name, Han. And she was like, my grandfather's name was Han. And then she said, okay, so it'll be Luke Han Gorham. And then my oldest son said, about a week before the baby Luke was born, Carla, that is Luke Han Solo Gorham. And she changed it.
Oh, what's Luke's middle name?
Aaron, like me.
Aaron.
Yeah. But so we did go to the biblical names, but really it's Star Wars. Oh, look at this. I like that kind of stuff.
Hernandez to kick off.
Everybody's changing. I like that. It's like choreographed.
Little misdirection, little jazz hands. Gutierrez, Villanueva, and Lopez back deep for Patriot.
I want to see the Patriots.
Lopez from the 1. Picking his way up to the 30-yard line, and there will be no encore performance. Down he goes. He gets over the 30, so a 30-plus yard return for Brandon Lopez, and he might be tired. He had to do a lot of running on that drive.
Hey, these Patriots, they're pretty darn good.
Jeff, it's Patriot. Patriot.
What do you mean, the Patriots?
The high school's name is Patriot. The team name is the Warriors.
Why would they do that?
You're thinking, it's probably counterintuitive, right?
Yeah. I mean, they're Patriots and they're Warriors.
The Patriots would be interesting.
Isn't Coach Belichick guy?
Maybe, yeah. I don't think he kind of looks like Bill.
Coach Fowler.
He doesn't wear the hoodie though.
No, and he's got that build, that tough guy. I'm going to beat you up build. They're really not the Patriots?
From the 31, it's a 1st and 10. No, it is Patriot. No S.
Gotcha.
Handoff, Lopez. Man, is he toting a 9-yard play up to the 40-yard line.
So all these years I've been calling them the Patriots. The Patriots.
I think you've just been calling them the Patriots. Another look at it. Brought down by Marcus Conahai. 2nd down. Give to Lopez again. Breaks one tackle. Now Castillo has him wrapped up. You'll see what they give him. They'll give him the forward progress to the 40. First down is to the 42, so it'll be a 3rd down and 2. And we have Pep Fernandez. Pep, what do you got?
Hey, guys, of course they are the Patriot Warriors. We all know that, but chew on this. How about the Big Bear Bears or the Burrows? Not the Patriots, but Jeff, I like what you're thinking. Back to you guys.
My favorite nickname is the Mayfair Monsoons.
That is a good one. But yes, they are. I think of the Patriots.
Well, Chris Fowler is also the athletic director. Get him on the phone.
Isn't he? Doesn't he work for ESPN? Isn't that Chris Fowler?
3rd and 2. College football. Here's Miramontes. First down, breaks a tackle, lunges forward, and he's to midfield. He'll pick up the first down. A tough 8-yard gain. Christensen was the one who stopped his progress and ultimately brought him down. Kind of stopped the momentum a little bit, and now Miramontes looks to be a little bit shaken up.
Have you ever been to Ridgecrest?
I've not. That was Jeff Steinberg's old team.
Do you know what they filmed there?
What do they film there?
The Hills Have Eyes.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't know if they filmed it there, but every time I go there, I feel like I'm in that movie. Sorry, Ridgecrest.
So 1st and 10 from midfield for Patriot. Arlington, with the 84-yard kickoff return by Rogers, has struck back. And now it's the return of the Patriots, so to speak, in this trilogy.
There's some movement, no call.
Miramonte to throw. He's got time. Looking down the field, he's got Lyman one-on-one. He reels it in. Did he catch it? Did he hold it? Flag on the play. And it looks like it's going to go against Arlington.
That ball is really, when it's underthrown like that, it becomes a jump ball situation. Defensively, it makes it hard not to make contact.
Well, they tell you, you saw all the right moves. They tell you to play the ball. Let's see what he did. Yeah, and Christensen kind of got tangled. He didn't know where he was, and he got tangled up. And that's going to be the flag, unfortunately. But you turn and play the ball, they'll let the contact go.
It's kind of the Texas two-step there.
From the 35, 1st and 10.
Should have been a chaperone separating those two for 3 feet.
Garcia to the bottom of your screen. Homecoming was last week, Jeff.
Oh, okay.
Lopez running left, surging down inside the 30 to the 29, 6 yards on the play. Abe Gonzalez on the tackle for Arlington. Mario Pelaggi also had his nose around the football. He'll come out of the game.
Got some other good games in the River Valley League tonight. We have Norte Vista playing their big rival, the Eagles of La Sierra, and it's Norte Vista's road game.
So Norte Vista playing on their home field, and it's a road game. That's a great deal. 2nd and 3. Ball at the 29 of Arlington. Warriors already lead at 7-6. Lopez direct snap. First down and more. He'll lower the shoulder inside the 20. Then down he goes. Durant in on the hit, along with Adrian Mendoza. And the clock continues to tick down. So they're going a little bit of tempo here from the 16, and the snap is fumbled. Lopez, though, goes back and retrieves it. He'll be ruled down at the 24. So they need to get a first down inside the 10 to about the 8-yard line, and this will make it 2nd and about 16. So they avert disaster there. The direct snap, and they've been doing a pretty good job with those direct snaps, and Lopez on top of it. Second down 24-yard line. Here's Lyman in motion for Patriot. Miramontes with a quick throw to the outside. Incomplete. Third down. Intended receiver on the play was Anthony Garcia. And that stops the clock with 7:08 to play in the second quarter. 3rd and 16. Patriot leading Arlington 7-6. I would guess this, as close as they are here, Jeff, 4-down territory?
Yes.
Okay.
Orange Vista over J.W. North 7-0 early on.
That's a key game. So Garcia to the top of the screen, Lyman in the near slot. Split out to the near side is Eloy Gutierrez. Now check that. That's Villanueva, Raymond Villanueva. Another high snap. Lopez running to the right side, trying to turn the corner. Can he do it? He gets inside the 20 and pushed out of bounds at about the 16. Adrian Mendoza finally shoves him down, and they get about half the distance they need. They need to get inside to the 8. So here we go. It's a 4th down from the 16-yard line. And another high snap. So Lopez gets by, and then he's shoved down by Mendoza. And the defender kind of tumbles over him. Clock stops. Timeout on the play. I believe it's Arlington that called the timeout on the 4th. They're going to say 4th and 10 coming up. Ball needs to get inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. Now, they've jumped a couple of times, so maybe.
See if he can get him twice.
Coach Argamosa is going to tell him, hey, you guys, watch the ball. Watch the ball. Second year for Coach Argamosa. Played his high school ball at Montebello, then at Whittier College, which produced a couple of big-time Hall of Fame coaches. George Allen and Don Coryell.
And a president of the United States.
I am not a crook, Jeff. I am not a crook.
You are not. The great Tricky Dick.
Don't say that. That's disrespectful. Come on, he's a president.
Okay. Well,
Richard Milhouse Nixon.
Millhouse. You know he spent his honeymoon in Riverside.
Where?
Over at a house over by Riverside Poly. There is a plaque. I'm sure the guys in the
that's right. He's a Yorba Linda guy.
In the van know the story that Richard Nixon, spent his honeymoon here in Riverside.
That explains everything. 4th and 10 coming up. Miramontes. End zone. Incomplete. Ball over on downs to Arlington. So the defense holds for the Lions.
Yeah, great stop by Arlington there. And like I said, a miscue by the Patriots. I mean, the Warriors.
Another look at the play. I think the receiver he wanted was Lyman. He wasn't open, so he had to go a little bit deeper. There were 2 options on the route for the quarterback, and now it goes over on downs, and they'll take over at the 16-yard line. Durant split out to the far side. Double tight end set. They're turn and give to Rogers, and down he goes immediately. First man in there for the Warriors of Patriot, Lincoln Zepeda. Second quarter, 7-6 Patriot. And, Jeff, you got to call that game yesterday, and the River Valley League, I have a feeling, man, I'm getting 2017 vibes. It's going to be a mad scramble in this league. It may be the best that we've seen this league since it was formed, Jeffrey.
And I love competitive equity. Is that what they would say?
Second down.
Parity.
Rogers again. Lyman with the tackle. Up to about the 19-yard line, 3rd and 7 coming up. You don't like parity, but you do like competitive equity, I think.
Yes.
You like when the teams can compete a little bit. Arlington, a new member. Just their second year in the RVL.
And Supa Dupa Harupa Valley left.
Yeah.
They were kicked out of the league, and they finished second place that year.
In 2017, you're saying, right?
Yeah, they were second place out of 5 teams had won the championship.
Durant split out to the bottom of your screen. Unbalanced line. And they'll run to the left side. This is Turner, and he's hit immediately. Zepeda also with his nose around the football, 4th down coming up. I'm intrigued by the whole unbalanced line thing because, and this is not relevant to anything, but I'm reading. My latest audiobook is Bill Parcells' autobiography.
Yeah.
So they're talking about when he was coming up in coaching and whatnot, and one of the big things he learned, I think when he got to, not Texas, right before where he was before Texas, he got to Vanderbilt, and they couldn't compete in the SEC. They didn't have the talent. So they would do things like the unbalanced line, which would confuse the other defenses. So waiting at about midfield to receive the punt is Sean Johnson, the senior. And the kick is away from Hernandez. Johnson fields it at the 47, and he'll be just get into Arlington territory, but he'll be tackled there by Broderick Burr.
So good part of the field here for Arlington. Let's see if they can take care of some business here.
So the Warrior defense holds up, the Patriot defense, and now they have the ball back. 5:10 to play here in the second quarter, so they'll get the ball to start the second half. So this is a big situation. You're getting the ball on the Arlington side of the field.
Yeah, I mean,
in a tightly contested River Valley League, they need to get points. So Garcia split out wide. Lopez right up the middle. Slammed down at about the 42-yard line. Christensen was there, as was Daniel Hernandez. Daniel Gonzalez there. Daniel Gonzalez, Eric Christensen make the tackle. Call it a 6-yard pickup. 2nd down and 4 coming up. It's a Lion Luau here at Arlington High.
Lion Luau, and I thought I heard a train. There's trains right here behind the scoreboard.
You and Johnny Cash. You hear the train a-coming. 2nd down. Lopez again. Stopped at about the 40-yard line, so 3rd down coming up.
I tell you what I wanted to be when I was a little kid.
What'd you want to be?
A hobo. I wanted a stick. Stick and a knapsack on the end of my stick.
The Little Rascals kind of glorified that a little bit, didn't they?
Yeah.
So Donovan Rails split out to the far side. To the near side for Patriot is Anthony Garcia. Devin Lyman in the near slot. A 3rd down coming up. They need to get to the 38-yard line of Arlington. So call it 3rd and 3. Miramontes from the shotgun. He'll take it himself, and he's got a 1st down. Still on his feet. Stumbles down at about the 32-yard line.
Gazal, that's a huge 3rd down conversion right there. Think about this. I mean, they held the ball. Each team had 1 possession in that first half. This could really bode well for the Warriors. They can hold that clock with 3:37 and get a score here before halftime.
Arlington defender down on the field. We'll talk a little bit about the history of Patriot. It only opened. They only started playing football back there in 2007. Our friend Kevin Corden was the first coach at Patriot. He started the program. Chris Fowler was on his staff. They made the playoffs in the 2nd year. Coach Fowler took over in 2014, and since he's taken over, they've made the playoffs 3 times, 2014, 2017, and 2018. They have 1 CIF playoff win under their belt. That came on November 10th of 2017, a 27-14 win against Colton. That was in a Division 12 playoff, Jeffrey.
Yes.
And they'd like to get back. They think they can get back this year.
That would be awesome. Good looking that he's up and walking.
Daniel Gonzalez, and he's been all over the field, the young sophomore. He's kind of stumbled down between a Patriot player and one of his own players. That didn't look pretty, but nice to see him walking off under his own power. Just a sophomore, his older brother, Abe Gonzalez, also a stalwart on the defense for the Lions. Hopefully he's okay. And we're closing in on 3 minutes to play in the first half. It's a 1st down for Patriot. Lopez from the 33. He's outside of the 25. Puts his shoulder down, gets inside the 25-yard line. Tackle on the play made by Nicholas Roman. So down to the 24-yard line, just short of the first down. They'll need a yard to get it. So 2nd and 1 from the 24 of Arlington. Another high snap to Miramontes. He'll take it himself. 20-15 and down to the 10-yard line. Gets inside the 10 as a matter of fact. They'll mark him to the 9-yard line. So Adrian Mendoza on the tackle for Arlington. A first down. The clock stops as they move the chains. So he's to the 9, so it'll be a 1st and goal. They'll drop the sticks. Double tight set, direct snap to Lopez, and down he goes. Nice defensive play for Arlington there.
That was a great stop.
Adam Polito just shot the gap.
Yeah, if Polito doesn't make that stop, it is pay dirt.
Polito, a transfer from Hillcrest, he had to sit out 30 days, so he's a sit out. This is his first day of eligibility. 2nd down coming up after the nice play by Polito. Lopez running left. Lopez to pay dirt. Touchdown, Patriots.
So, like we said, very good timing for them to score, and get the ball here in the second half.
2nd touchdown of the evening for Brandon Lopez. So we told you the story. Josiah Felix, he was having a good year. He had 470 yards on 60 carries, already with 6 touchdowns. PAT coming up, and it's good.
He's on fire.
So Freddie Madrid 2 for 2 after having a rough day against Fontana. And Lopez they're doing a great job of getting to the edge. Well, Lopez. Running left, running right. He's able to get outside. We got Pep Fernandez.
Hey, what up, guys? Yeah, Brandon Lopez now with 2 touchdowns for Patriots to give them the lead here in the second quarter. And you mentioned Josiah Felix not playing for Patriots tonight, out with an injury. He's also a wrestler, so the guy is tough. And if he can come back this season, he will. I do want to point out, too, Ghazal, you're talking about those 2017 vibes and that 5-way tie for first place in the River Valley League. Well, head coach Travis Carter from Hillcrest is down here on the sidelines keeping a very close eye on this game because even though it's week 6, this is a very important game as teams begin to jockey for that playoff positioning in the RVL. It's going to be a wild season. Back to you guys.
Yeah, Pep, it's a great point you make, and it sounds silly. It really does. But
it happens.
Every game's at a premium. And, I think most people think it's Ramona, Nobi, and everybody else. But that everybody else, there are 4 teams that are fairly equally matched.
Yeah, and if you would have talked about this before the season started, you would have said, Norte Vista, no way.
Nope.
You lose 19 starters off of that great team. They get pummeled in that first game, and then they just go on and win 4 straight.
So the kickoff goes out of bounds. It'll be 1st and 10 Arlington. They'll have 2 minutes. Let's see what they try to do here. They still have I think they have 2 timeouts left, so they can still run the ball a little bit. But you wonder if that wrinkle with the tight end comes in. Unbalanced line. Here's the give. And Rogers making some hay. All the way up to midfield, a 15-yard pickup for Rogers, who's been running very strong today for Arlington. Donovan Moreno in on the hit. One of the linebackers out of that 3-5-3 alignment for Chris Fowler and his defensive coordinator, Aaron Randall. Speaking of bloodlines, you're going to look at the Rogers run.
What a great camera footage there.
Here's T-Bone battling. Runs right into Alex Gomez, who gives no quarter. Alex Hernandez there as well. Maybe squeeze a yard out of it up to the 49.
Yeah, T-Bone not happy with that. He hit himself in the helmet.
14-6 in favor of Patriot. And keep in mind, the Warriors, they get the ball to start the second half. So a little bit of urgency here for Arlington that struggled to score points of late. Just 35 points in 5 of their 6 games. They had 49 against Corona. Castillo splits out to the bottom of the screen. Roy to throw. looking for Rogers out of the backfield. Hey, that's a smart move. You're trying to get the ball in the hands of your playmakers. Anthony Garcia on the coverage. It'll fall incomplete, makes it 3rd down, but it also stops the clock, Jeff.
Yeah, but a penalty there on Arlington here.
So a 5-yarder marked off. The 4th penalty on the Lions. They've been penalized for 30 yards. The big one was that pass interference.
Last week, I think our first quarter lasted about an hour and a half with all the laundry. A lot of holding calls. But Arlington, I tell you what, down 14-6, they look like a totally different ball club than last week.
So Aaron Randall, we already know, the son of Lou Randall. Defensive line coach is Damian Mahoney. Linebacker coach for Patriot Jacob Flores, whose stepfather is Kevin Corridon. Longtime coach at King. He was at Patriot for a little bit.
He's a principal, I think.
Complete the ball underneath to Turner, and he's decleated at about the 40-yard line. Devin Lyman comes in. What a hit there. 4th down coming up.
Wow, that was a great hit.
I mean, Lyman goes about 160, Turner about 230.
All right, we do have a score from Norte Vista as the Braves are up 35-0 with 8 minutes left in the first half.
Wow. Are we sure Ken Batdorf is not a Sith Lord? I mean, I like to call him the ferryman, but he may indeed be a Sith Lord. What if you and he are the Sith? Always two there are, Jeff. One master, one apprentice.
Oh, I'm too nice. I'm too nice to be a Sith. Am I? Am I, Gazal?
You'd be like a Count Dooku Sith, because you actually know stuff. Christopher Lee. Remember, was that Christopher Lee, right?
He was
Count
Dracula.
Dooku?
He was also, no, he was Dracula, and then he also played Van Helsing in a few movies.
Was Frank Langella in the trilogy? He played Dracula, too. That's why I'm asking.
Yes, he did. Was Frank Langella?
No, he wasn't in Star Wars. That was Christopher Lee, yeah.
Hey, there's are you going to watch this? Are you a Hocus Pocus guy?
I'm not. I'm really not. But I will if you guys, if the Gorham boys want to watch it, I'm I'm in.
You know, you're coming over to the stately Gorham Manor tonight, and I think Hocus Pocus, if we get out of here at a decent time, you'll be watching some Hocus Pocus too, my friend. We can think about what used to be of, what's her name? Sarah Jessica Parker. I used to really like her. She was my childhood crush.
She was a star as a teenager, correct?
She was in Square Pegs.
That's right, Square Pegs. That's right.
Square Pegs.
So 3rd down and about 11 here. Roy to throw. Over the middle. Intercepted! What a pick. And guess who? Brandon Lopez. Looking for the tight end, Adrian Mendoza. Lopez must have listened to our open.
He must have, and I'll tell you what, though, this has given Patriot here a free pass. They have an opportunity to try to score here before halftime.
They have all 3 timeouts and 38 seconds to go from the 43. So let's see how they try to do it. Can they air it out? They've been doing a great job running the ball, Jeff. They'll have to put it in the air.
The question is, will he have enough time to throw? Because the blitz from Arlington has been pretty stellar tonight. He hasn't been able to get the pass off too often.
Now, the advantage is Brandon Lopez spent most of the year playing in the slot. So 2-by-2, empty backfield for Patriot. 5 receivers now in the formation. Here comes the pressure. He'll get it out of his hands to Lopez. Lopez going to head for the sideline, shed 1 tackle, and then he'll shuffle out of bounds in front of Broderick Burr at about the 47.
6 ticks off the clock, not bad.
So close to a first down, give him about 9 yards on the play. Lopez, you put your hands, there's Akili Thomas stumbling, and then Burr comes over to finish it off. They actually marked him out at the 48. Another empty set. Lopez in motion. Here comes pressure. This is Castillo. And now Miramontes will run. He'll step out of bounds at the 45-yard line. It'll be enough for a first down. Clock down to 25 seconds. Close to a illegal block when he was trying to get around when Castillo came in. Miramontes dancing, and we don't see it on camera, but he's able to get around before Thomas pushes him out. So 25 seconds left from the Arlington 45. Now, Madrid's range hasn't been good. He was struggling with extra points, so I think it's going to be at some point they'll run a couple plays and have to shoot the ball to the end zone. I don't think a field goal is on the menu, Jeffrey.
It is not.
Lopez in motion. Miramontes calls his own number. Quarterback draw, fighting with Akili Thomas. He stumbles down to the 32-yard line.
Man, a timeout.
So you thought there might be a hold on the play, huh?
I thought there might have been, and there was. Oh, no, timeout they called, sorry.
11 yards and a first down. Sticks move up. So 19 seconds to play here. And you like how – and here you go. Coach Fowler managing this like a playoff game.
You have to. I mean, you've got to play it smart. You got to try to score because then you get the ball right back. That could really break the back of Arlington if you can just get it in the end zone or just get 3 more points.
And now we see why you like kickers so much.
I love kickers.
Does Norte Vista have a good kicker this year?
No.
They do not. That was very unequivocal as you get a look at Kevin Argumosa, the head man. Second year as a head coach of the Lions. And you know, you got to give him some credit. He's really revitalized this Arlington program.
Everybody likes the guy. He's a great dude. I told you he should have quit, though. He should have quit the day he won the CIF championship. He should have denied going to the state finals. I refuse to run, Jerry.
Like little Bartleby the Scrivener.
Yeah.
I'd like to equate it to when Kareem Saeed denied the clemency. He was given clemency, and he rejected the governor's clemency.
He did.
Because he did not like the governor. The great Eamon Walker playing that role, of course, who I prefer much more to Idris Elba.
You are not an Idris Elba fan. I am.
First and 10. Movement on the right side of the line. Let's see if he was drawn. And this, you're an old basketball coach. Didn't you get frustrated when you're trying to protect the lead and somebody fouled unnecessarily because now the other team can get points without the clock running? Now you got yards without the clock running. So another penalty on Arlington. That is their 5th flag. And I think 3 of them have been for either offside or illegal motion. First and 5. Miramontes pulls it down, lets it go. Ball is complete to Garcia. Garcia racing to the pylon. Did he get in? Touchdown! Anthony Garcia with the yards after catch. The run after the catch, and he gets into the end zone. Oh, my.
Wow. That's a tough one.
That hurts. If you're Arlington, that one hurts. PAT coming up off the foot of Freddie Madrid. It's interesting because the scouting report on Garcia is he's a guy that can get deep. Not really a run-after-catch guy, but did what he needed on the play. And the PAT is good from Madrid. Let's get another look at it. Miramontes makes this play a little bit with his feet, and then Garcia just has a lot of room. He gets past Thomas there, and the final 2 yards, he leans in into the end zone, just went right down the sideline.
I thought for sure he was, I think he thought for sure, hey, I just got to get out of bounds.
Yeah.
But he had all the real estate in the world. Great block.
In fact, when he caught it, it looked like he was trying to look for it to get out of bounds.
And then he said, hey, my guys are doing their job, and scored.
A little bit of a shocker here. 21-6 in favor of Patriots. Madrid back on to kick it away. Rogers back deep.
That's not a shocker. That's a nightmare.
Along with Roman.
I'd make him kick it again.
John Brandon over here.
I saw John Brandon last night. Thanos was on the field at Hillcrest.
Thanos.
Pep interviewed him. I thought he was going to snap his fingers and Pep was going to disappear.
Flag as the kick was out of bounds. It'll come out to the 35. Remember, Rogers returned 184 yards, went the distance, and that's really been the only offense for Arlington.
They moved the ball well that first quarter. They just didn't score.
So there's an additional penalty. They're going to move it up to the 40. They're going to take it when it went out of bounds, I guess, the 43-yard line. So 8 seconds to play. And Eddie Roy will just kneel down, and that's how the first half will end. We'll go down to Pep Fernandez.
Hey, what's up, guys? We are here on the sideline as they're getting ready for the halftime show at Arlington High School. Join us here, Alexis Vargas. He's with the band, and he's going to explain what's going on here at halftime. It's a very big halftime show. And, Alexis, we're going to get out of the way in a moment. I saw this. Oh, we got to do it right now. Peter, stay right there. Don't move. They're going all around you. They got lots of instruments. But
we're good now. We're good.
Oh, we're good now. So, Alexis, we got a giant ball, and I wanted to come over to you and say, what's the halftime show? Is it UFC? Is it the Octagon? No. What is that giant ball that we're seeing behind us?
Yeah, of course. So our field show this year is called Bringer of Joy. It's just a big old conceptual idea of the arrangement of Jupiter by Gustav Holst. So it's a nice little fun show about space, essentially, right? So we got our big old prop, that ball that's rolling over there that you see. So that's supposed to be our little representation of Jupiter, kind of pushing it around the field. It's very dynamic what we do with the band, with the formations. So we're having a good time with it. It's our prototype. We're gonna get a newer metal ball, see how that rolls. But yeah, it's been a really big visual point of the show, and we're hoping that it helps us out, especially in the competitive season of marching band. But just like the football team, just like any other sport, we've been working hard. So it's nice they finally get their first performance.
So you're working on it. Your first performance for, you said, band competitions, right?
Yeah. So our first one's actually next Saturday at Moreno Valley, Canyon Springs. So if you're in the area, you want to go check out some good bands, they'll be on at 7. Support some local bands, local arts. We can always use the support.
All right, Alexis, real quick too. I know your band director is very busy, but let's give her a shout out real quick because she's about to start the halftime show.
Yeah, of course, April Patrick over there. She's been with the band here now for a couple years and really been trying to shape a new identity for them moving forward, and it's been going great. Yeah, kids are having a great time, the staff's having a great time, and we're all just getting better, having a good time making music. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's Alexis Vargas. Alexis, we really appreciate the time, man.
Thank you.
Hopefully they can get a win for these guys. We're going to outer space here at halftime, although the Lions are trailing here at the break. Guys, back to you.
Riverside TV, A Space Odyssey, Jeff.
Oh, yes, that sounds even better.
21-6 the score at the half, Patriot over Arlington. Stay tuned for the band show. Jeff and I will step out. We'll come right back. It's Riverside TV, the CIF on Riverside TV. Patriot leads the home team, the Lions, here at halftime on a Lion Luau Friday night.
California leads the nation in railroad trespass-related fatalities. In 2021, there were 243 trespass casualties in California. Trespassing is one of the most challenging safety issues plaguing California's railroad corridors. In Riverside County alone, there were 19 trespass-related casualties last year. But the positive news is those numbers have dropped over the years because of the efforts of California Operation Lifesaver and partnering agencies like RCTC and Metrolink. We can all help reduce trespass-related incidents even further if we never trespass on railroad property for any reason. That means no biking or walking near tracks. Railroad property is private property. The only safe place to cross train tracks is at a designated crossing. September is Rail Safety Month, so please do your part. And whenever you see tracks, always think train. And stay off, stay away, stay safe.
I'm Cheech Marin, and we're inviting you to reserve your spot for the inaugural showing of Cheech Collects. So get your tickets today. We're looking for you.
Live local. Help support your favorite businesses with the Shop Riverside Community Card. With over 200 Riverside businesses giving exclusive discounts and offers to community card holders, there's something for everyone. Participating organizations sell these cards for only $15 each, with $10 going straight back to the organization itself, making the Shop Riverside Community Card a fantastic way to support your favorite local group. For more information about the Shop Riverside Community Card and to find participating businesses, please visit shopriversidenow.com. And don't forget to live local. Shop Riverside.
Hi High school sports are one of the things that make living in California so great.
But sometimes the behavior in the stands can overshadow our achievements on the field.
I love it when my parents show up for me.
But being booed for missing a play could be crushing.
And remember that refs are people too.
They're trying their best to call a fair and correct game.
Hey, and enough with all the swearing.
No one should feel insulted or ashamed
because of their race, ethnicity, or gender.
We should be able to hold our heads high after the match, win or lose.
Well, it all started basically with my son, Joshua Unger. He's severely autistic. He was aging out of the school district, and this was about when he was around 18, but the school district keeps you till you're 22. We're sitting at home one day and we're talking about, well, what are we going to do once he actually is out of the school district? And we thought about it really hard, and at that time we were doing some backyard gardening. And my son was very responsive to it. He enjoyed going out and planting the seeds and being in the soil and, harvesting the lettuce and going and, getting the carrots and the onions, and, he likes to cook too. And we thought, well, hey, what if we actually had some property to where we could have like a small farm that sells vegetables, and we can make a program where we can bring in others, a work program for people with these different disabilities. Ultimately, what we decided to do was just start looking in the Inland Empire area for a piece of property that would work for that. And, we found the Greenbelt. We try to implement as much organic material in the soil as possible. We're not using any pesticides or herbicides. We, have barn owl boxes. We have little birds' nests that we're planting so that they'll eat some of the bugs. And we also encourage predator bugs, like ladybugs. Our operation is at that point where we're turning a corner. With the high tunnels going up, we're going to be planting tomatoes in there. There's a lot of little things to maintain with tomatoes. We're kind of transitioning from a point where we were just focused on this small little corner of the property, kind of educating me. And then now that we have some systems in place that I feel are successful, we're going to expand that across the center part of the farm here, and we're going to be putting in a little farm stand that we can sell some of these vegetables with, and that will provide additional tasks for the workers with disabilities to fulfill. One of the ways that we reach out to people is on Facebook, and it's Gable Farms. Just Gable Farms, and you can search it in Riverside. And that's an easy way to find us.
My daughter had an issue at school where another student on her campus, specifically in her class, said some derogatory things about people of color, specifically black people. Although Riverside is a great place to live, it has shadows and it has corners where hate lives. As a result of that, my daughter was hurt that day, and we needed to put a voice to it. A friend of mine, she reached out to me and she said, Rochelle, I can't sit by and know that this happened to Edison and not do something.
We had a conversation about the racism that her daughter Edison had experienced at her school and how that felt to her. We felt like we needed to do something and to say something. And so we talked about the representation of black figures in Riverside and how there was a lack of representation. We talked about inclusion and respect and what that looked like. And we talked about creating an art piece.
It was after the murals that we had up on the Fox Performing Arts Center, as well as the John Lewis mural at the Civil Rights Institute. And so when this concept came to us at the City of Riverside, it felt a way that we could support our artist community, because we are the City of Arts and Innovation, but it was also in an easy, beautiful way, a statement that we promote we respect and we want diversity, equity, and inclusion in all things we do.
I myself am a mosaic artist, and so I talked to Rochelle about the possibility of us creating an art piece, and she loved that idea. And soon Shay Tracy, who is also an educator, so we are three teachers. We started out on this endeavor to create this piece together and enlisted 14 artists to create the piece that you see here today.
As at that time, there was so much happening in the culture, in the world, surrounding Black Lives Matter, and some of the protests in terms of the police brutality that was happening, that I just felt I needed to do something as a model to boys. Each individual person, they worked on their own sketch of the artist, and they put the tiles together at their own home studio, and then towards the end, we collected the materials in waves, and then we kind of just put it all together a few weeks before the reveal. I want them to feel the love and intentionality that we put into the mural. I want it to awaken a curiosity about all of the people who we included in the mural, and to just get people to understand and to have more interest in Black history and in these contributing members.
As the City of Arts and Innovation, this was a really beautiful step towards including art pieces that are public and that are representative of everyone.
For the community, I hope that it shows that in being authentic and real and transparent and sharing our stories, great things can come out of it.
Welcome to In the Vault, a program of the Museum of Riverside. Today I'm going to share a little bit about the museum's herbarium, which is a collection of plant specimens, and a herbarium can be either dry or wet specimens, but mostly dry specimens, and that's what we have quite a bit of. It began with the early curator of botanic collections, Edmund Yeager, who started collecting specimens in the Riverside and San Bernardino area in the 1920s. Many of these specimens that he collected eventually wound up in our collection. But the real turning point was in 1949 when Charles and Wilhelmina Clark donated their collection, the Clark Herbarium, along with an endowment for the care of the collection and for botanical programs. And we've pulled out today just a couple of specimens, just a few specimens from the Clark Herbarium that are examples of Nevins barberry, which is an endangered species in our area, and you actually can acquire cultivated specimens of this plant from nurseries, but in the few areas where it grows naturally, it's under threat and has been added to the endangered species list. Now, this is how dried herbarium specimens are stored and collected. A herbarium specimen is of little use to us unless it comes with its collection data. So all this information is here, collected on a certain date in a certain location by a certain collector, and then the specimens are dried under certain conditions so that they don't attract mold, mildew, or other forces that can disintegrate them. Because they're dried, of course, they're very fragile, and we have to keep them in short stacks in carefully controlled environmental conditions. And you might wonder why we would have more than one example of the same species. And there's a reason for that, several reasons actually. First of all, comparing different examples of the same species can give information to researchers. And comparing specimens that have been collected over time can give researchers information about changing environmental conditions. And in the context of much research that's done today, for instance, climate change, we can learn much about how and where specimens were collected and what has happened to their morphology over time. It's also useful to have different specimen examples for genetic research, which is done today. Again, it was something that was, at the time these things were collected, no one even conceived of the kind of genetic research that would be done today. And now we have some of these specimens, which, of course, because they're in essence insect food, we have to keep very close watch on them to make sure no infestations get into our storage vault here. These cabinets behind me are the cabinets where we store the herbarium specimens, and they have to be inspected often to make sure that we have no problems. To go back to the Clark Herbarium, that portion of the Museum of Riverside's herbarium comprises about 10,000 specimens. Additional collectors, other collectors, John C. Roos, for instance, actually this one was collected by John C. Roos, have added to the herbarium and make it a reference point with almost a century's trajectory that allows it to be a tremendous resource for researchers who are interested in Southern California, particularly the inland Southern California plant community. We have a new incoming lot of specimens coming into the herbarium soon. We do continue to actively collect, and again, for some of those scientific reasons that might not necessarily have been anticipated at the time that earlier examples of some of the species were collected. So for instance, a researcher has recently gone out to some of the areas in Central and Southern California that are fire damaged and collecting plant specimens that are coming back after those fires so that we can study the kind of plant communities that thrive in those post-fire environments. Again, we cannot possibly imagine what kind of research may be done in the future that would make these specimens of great use to a scientist. And I should add as well, as my background is the fine arts, that there's a resurgence of interest among artists in looking at these kinds of collections and just seeing the visual beauty of them and seeing how the visual impact of a specimen can be translated into an aesthetic experience and to help connect people with nature in a way that is very vital right now. So again, thank you for joining us for this segment of In the Vault, and we do encourage you, particularly if you're a researcher, to contact us and arrange to have access to the herbarium collection. Thank you.
High school sports are one of the things that make living in California so great.
Athletics builds character, teamwork, physical fitness,
and shows what hard work can achieve.
And some of us can even earn a college scholarship or qualify for the Olympics.
But sometimes the behavior in the stands can overshadow our achievements on the field.
I love it when my parents show up for me.
But being booed for missing a play can be crushing.
Parents who lose their minds when we don't score aren't helping.
It can actually be super distracting. We should be able to hold our heads high after the match, win or lose.
And remember that refs are people too.
They're trying their best to call a fair and correct game.
Even if you may not love the call.
Seeing and hearing people, belligerently be mean to you, it makes you not want to play anymore. It makes you just want to go sit on the sidelines and cry. It's not fun.
No one should feel insulted or ashamed
because of their race, ethnicity, or gender.
Hey, and enough with all the swearing.
Anger has no place here.
Thank you for being part of the change, and thank you for being there to lift us up.
Welcome back, Arlington High School. Ghazal Hassan, Jeff Gorham back with you, the CIF on Riverside TV. Our game of the week this week, Patriot and Arlington, the River Valley League opener for both teams. And we've been talking about it all through the first half, Jeff, in the sense that the River Valley League is going to be a logjam this year, particularly between 3 and 6. So every game is at a premium. Every win is at a premium for every team. And here are a couple of teams, Patriot and Arlington, that'll probably be a bit on the bubble. One of them will probably need to get that third-place spot. The other team will try to be an at-large. And right now, Patriot with the 21-6 advantage.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I think personally, if you're going to win the River Valley League, you have to win it outright. You have to run the table, and that'll be your first place team. And right now, Ramona, and obviously it's Ramona, Patriot if they're going right now, and Norte Vista will be all at 1-0. But that is how you're going to have to win, and it is going to get a logjam, and it's going to be that third place that everybody's going to try to vie for that CIF playoff spot.
Patriot coming in, Jeff, were 4-1, but their wins against a 2-3 Rialto team, a 1-4 Rubidoux team, a 2-3 Jurupa Valley team, and a 1-4 Fontana team. The one team they had played, Grand Terrace, who has a winning record, they lost 35-21. They're in the San Andreas. Now, that game was played in a driving rainstorm, but if you're Chris Fowler, you got to get some confidence now. Hey, all right, we've hit the ground running. It's the opener in league play. Now we got to finish these last 24 minutes. We got to finish this one. We're on the road. Put that road win in your back pocket.
Yeah, and you got to put a road win and say, hey, this is a CIF championship team. They know how to win, obviously. They won so many games last year. So that is going to be, hey, step one.
And I think the difference is, not like last year. I think, Arlington, remember, they kind of snuck in. They got in on the coin flip. They got the AQ automatic qualifier out of the River Valley League on the coin flip. That will not happen this year.
No.
You will have to win it on the field this year.
Yes, you will.
Pep Fernandez has something for us.
Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, this game is really moving along. In fact, that 9 o'clock finish time might actually happen if they keep running the ball so much. I had a chance to talk to some of the officials out here, and they describe themselves as OGs. They've been doing this football thing a long time, and they said in terms of throwing flags or penalties or keeping this game moving along, they want the players to play. I know it was a little bit different last week, Arlington here, but tonight these OG officials said this game will continue to move along, and maybe we'll be done by 9 o'clock. We'll find out.
Rails, Villanueva, and Lopez back deep for Patriot. Kickoff coming from Arlington. Javier Hernandez will approach and swing the leg, and it'll boom it deep. Lopez in the end zone, and he'll come out for the touchback. Now, to be fair, last year, Arlington's big win came over Hillcrest.
10-0 win, right?
It was Patriot beat Arlington in the finale last year, 17-14, but Arlington won the coin flip. And I'll tell you what, when I talked to Kevin Argamosa before the Lakeside game, he said, I was disappointed in this team because something leaked. They kind of knew they'd won the coin flip, but I wanted them to be playing strong heading into the playoffs. Well, it turns out it worked out pretty well for Coach Argamosa and for the Arlington Lions, who won the Division 13 championship last year.
I just hope I wasn't the leaker. I might have called him and said, hey, congratulations. You never know.
I've heard you call worse. 1st and 10 from the 20 for Patriot. They lead 21-6. The give to Lopez gets around Castillo, and again he turns the corner, finally ridden down over the 35 at about the 38-yard line by Nathan Durant. So a 18-yard pickup, call it a 16-yard pickup up to the 36, and Lopez is running wild tonight, much like Hulkamania in the mid-'80s.
Hulkamania.
Were you a Hulkamania guy? You're a Macho Madness guy, Jeff.
Man, I love the Macho Man, Randy Savage. Thank you.
When the mania met the madness, if they only knew. 1st and 10 line is the 36. Patriot on the move. Here's Miramontes. Right up the middle. He's got some space. Squeezes it up. 35 down at about the 30-yard line. Looks like the ball popped loose, but he was already down on the play. Making the tackle was on the play for Arlington was Davion Boyd Phoenix. So the ball all the way up to the 30-yard line.
I was more of a George the Animal Steel guy, to be honest with you. In fact, when we get to my house tonight, I'm going to George the Animal Steel you. I'm going to take off my shirt, and we're going to wrestle in the backyard.
33-yard run, and that was not Miramontes. The new quarterback in, Julian Payan in. At quarterback, it looks like, for Patriot. Lopez takes the handoff, running right. Nice downfield block by Villanueva. Christensen rides him down at about the 11-yard line. Another about 20-yard pickup. Great block downfield by Raymond Villanueva, the receiver on the top of the screen.
He just puts his head down and I'm going.
Lopez gets through the swim. So they mark him at the 13-yard line. And here's Lopez again, driving and pulled down inside the 5. They'll mark him to the 3-yard line, so a 10-yard pickup, very close to a first down. So he's just short. Christensen with the tackle for Arlington. It'll be 2nd and short from inside the 5. And Patriot, we mentioned they get the ball to start the second half. They take it right down the field, even with their backup quarterback in. Payan takes it. He'll run left, breaks one tackle, leans forward. He put the ball down. Did he get in? He did not. Stop at the 1-yard line. That's good enough for a first down.
And he put his hand, or he tried to reach over the goal line. But you have to have the hands the size of mine to do that. In fact, it looks like he lost the ball here at the goal line. Let's see here.
Well, the knee's down there.
Yeah, yes.
But anyway, it's a 1st and goal now. And the big boys up front getting the job done for Patriot. Now Miramontes back in. Hands it to Lopez. 3rd time is the charm. The hat trick for Brandon Lopez. 3 touchdown runs. That came 1 yard out. 27-6 Patriots.
Now, Patriot does look like they have adjusted pretty well. Their fitness seems well. They seem like they're really in great shape here and really wearing down these Lions.
Madrid with the kick. And even he's perfect. And Madrid, that was an interesting question. We talked with Coach Fowler, and he'd had some problems. So Miramontes on that first run kind of hits it hard. The ball came out, but he was down, and he had to leave the game for a couple of plays. And then here's Lopez, and Lopez has done a great job getting to the edge, getting to the sideline.
Yeah, he's been, not so much down the middle, but like you said, he cuts in and then goes out, and there's blockers that have been there for him all night long. As you see right there, there's 3 guys there to take up his space.
Well, Matthew Aravalo, Christian Lopez on the right side, but all 5 of those guys, Adrian Mendoza, Tristan Butler, Diego Amendares, they all deserve a lot of credit. And I'll throw Eloy Gutierrez and Raymond Villanueva in there, too, because they've been blocking as well. So 28-6, Patriot very much in control here. And Madrid getting confidence. He's hit all his PATs. Little pooch kick. They'll let it go out of bounds, and it'll come out to the 35-yard line. Flag comes in. Fielding the pooch kick was Eric Barajas for Arlington. It'll come out to the 35-yard line. So 1st and 10. Remember, the one break in the armor was when Luke Rogers bought a kickoff back 84 yards.
But their offense has been stagnant here now for 12 quarters.
How much do you think the bye week has helped Patriot last week? Because they were banged up a little bit. They got a chance to rest up. And not only that, they got a chance to have some of the new guys. They were moving Lopez to the backfield. He got a chance to practice for a full week. And then in the slot, Garcia, they're moving Lyman to the slot. He got a chance to practice for a full week.
And I think for certain teams, the bye week is great. But for other teams, I think it's detrimental, and I can explain here in a sec.
Rogers, Lyman, little do-si-do, brings him down. Nominal gain on the play. 2nd down coming up.
But see, if you are playing well and playing at a high level, and you have that bye week, sometimes it takes a little luster off of your game, and other times it can be great because, like I said, get the guys back into the fold, injuries and so forth. So I think it just depends on how you are, and obviously Coach Fowler has had his guys prepared.
2nd down and 10 from the 35. Rogers trying the left side this time, and down he goes. Rogers trying to run there to the outside. First man there on the defense for Patriot was Austin Kramer, the junior. What Chris Fowler told me is, we got healthy last week. And the bye week, he said he gave the team basically Thursday and Friday completely off. And the heat kind of subsided, and they were able to kind of get back to business. Clock moving, it's a 3rd down and 7. Hand off to Turner. Gets over the 40 to the 41-yard line, brings up 4th down. Pison with the tackle, the senior. 3-year starter on the defensive line. Number 88, 6'2", 225-pound senior makes the play. And the punt team comes on for Arlington. Javier Hernandez will kick it away to Sean Johnson. So that's a quick 3-and-out, Jeff.
Yeah, that's not good. Considering that first quarter, they basically ran the ball for, 7 minutes and 40 seconds?
Yeah. High snap. Hernandez able to get it away. Johnson has to let it bounce. It'll be down at the 22-yard line. So a 35-yard kick, no return. And that's where Patriot tees it up.
Now, Arlington's going to have to do something here because Patriot has really dominated this game since that first quarter.
And next week shapes up to be a big one because Hillcrest lost to Ramona yesterday. They're at Patriot next week. That's a big one for Patriot as well to be able to go, if they can hold on here, to go 2-0. We were talking about it at halftime, Jeff. So Ramona is 1-0. Norte Vista, they were up, 43-6, something like that?
And they're at halftime. I think th're up 48-6.
So they're looking like they're going to go 1-0. And so now for Patriot, they're going to keep pace with those two big teams. It's just so big, even in week 1 of league play. From the 22, Miramontes gives to Lopez right up the middle. Lopez, knees high. Into Arlington territory. Somebody had the ball. He goes down to the 31-yard line. I believe somebody was trying to rip the ball down, and that's what slowed him up. So a 47-yard run. He flips the field, does Brandon Lopez.
Here's the run. I think he just got tired, for God's sakes. Let's see.
I think he's stumbling there. I thought he was trying to switch the ball, and then going in for the ball there was Christensen, it looked like.
Well, he's been running great. I mean, he's got to be tired, for God's sakes.
From the 32 officially, 1st and 10. Miramontes moving right, gets outside of Castillo, then cuts back inside, and he's down inside the 20 at about the 19-yard line. Nick Roman brings him down. So about a 13-yard pickup there for Miramontes. What a 1-2 punch they have been. Isaiah Miramontes, the junior quarterback, and Brandon Lopez, the tailback.
Boy, they have just been, running all over the field tonight. They haven't had to throw it all. There's no need. They're taking care of business with the big boys up front and in the backs.
Red zone, and their best runner is unavailable this evening. Lopez trying to find some room. Castillo twists him down around the knees, makes 4 yards on the play, does Lopez, but the key there, clock keeps moving. Get a look at the Orange Vista North score. What a thriller last week the Huskies won at the Doghouse.
Unbelievable. I didn't know what was going on. We walked down the bleachers and said North wins. They had just turned the ball over.
Option, Miramontes, 5, diving, down inside the 5 at about the 1-yard line. Durant there along with Adrian Mendoza for Arlington on the tackle, and that'll be a 1st and goal. Player down, they're going to stop. It's an Arlington player who's down by the pylon. 2nd down and goal coming up. Nice shot from our end zone cam.
Nice little wrinkle we put in at California School for the Deaf. You missed a great experience, Ghazal Hassan. Boy,
I love the open with the gentleman signing along with you guys open. That was fantastic.
Albin Gibbons, I went to high school with him. He was in the middle there. He looked teeny.
There's Nicholas Roman. He's getting to his feet, walking off under his own power.
Well, he is the homecoming king. Is he not?
I thought it was Durant.
Was that Durant? Oh, yeah, it's 13, right? It's Durant. Sorry.
Let's get a look here, Miramontes. And again, look at the downfield blocking. Mendoza there along with Roman.
Yeah, ankle there. Go.
You know, talking with Chris Fowler And we actually talked extensively about kind of the shape and the condition of what high school football is like. And he said, and he played at Hurripah Valley, and he said, hey, we're a neighborhood school. We're not going to have a lot of big guys, but I like the camaraderie of my guys, and that's how you build culture. And when you see wide receivers block it down the field, that's all culture. So that speaks very well to what Coach Fowler has built at Patriot. 1st and goal. Miramontes will finish it off. Pay dirt for Miramontes. Touchdown, Patriot. So Miramontes gets into the end zone, and man, a 3-and-out, and they come right down the field. 78-yard drive. The key play, that 47-yard run by Brandon Lopez, who has not skipped a beat, playing the slot most of this year, picking up right where he left off last year when he gained 1,391 yards and scored 16 touchdowns for the Warriors. Fred McAllister. Unsportsmanlike conduct on the Warriors. So their first miscue here in the second half. They had one penalty assessed in the first half for 10 yards. They did get a couple of flags on kickoffs, though.
Yes, they did.
So 2 penalties for 25 yards against Patriot, 5 penalties thus far for 35 yards against Arlington. So not many penalties as compared to last week.
Last week, holy smokes, there was a lot of laundry out there.
There's a penalty on every play.
They had to change flags at halftime.
You know what? How about Freddie Madrid today? I don't want to jinx him. 4 for 4 thus far. Puts that one up, and it is good, 5 for 5.
Yes.
We were talking with Coach Fowler before the game, and he struggled mightily last week. He missed 3 PATs. 2 of them he flat out missed. One was a bad snap, and then they ended up going for 2 on the last one. Here's that big run by Lopez to set up the touchdown. And then Miramontes and Lopez, what a 1-2 punch they have been for Patriot running the football.
And they've been able to run outside all night long on this Arlington defense.
What's interesting is I actually thought Patriot was going to try to throw the ball a little bit because last week Canyon Springs had such success. They threw for nearly 200 yards on Arlington, but, man, they're running the football at will almost, the Warriors.
Yes. And continue to do that. I mean, this is a runner's league other than Ramona. Ramona is the greatest show on turf, like the St. Louis Rams.
So a little democracy for Patriot. Lopez had scored 3 of the first 4 touchdowns, and now Miramontes gets one by land at 5:43 here in the third quarter. And then, of course, there was that pass to Garcia, that wild and wacky play at the end of the first half. Garcia found the end zone, Anthony Garcia, with about 8 seconds left. So the 15-yard penalty marked off against Patriot. They'll kick now from the 25-yard line. This will put Arlington in some good field position, trailing 35-6. Unless they pooch it again. So here's Freddie Madrid. A little redemption for him today. And, yes, he'll kick it short to about the 35-yard line. Down, picked up by Akili Thomas. Thomas trying to get outside. He'll be brought down at about the 40-yard line. Lyman was the first man there, but cleaning it up at the end on the tackle was Aiden Quince. Quince, the senior. 5:35 to play. Here in the third quarter, it's 35-6 in favor of Patriot, and the Lion Luau not going so well, Jeff.
No, the luau is, there's going to be no poi eating, no pineapple, and no pizza with pineapple.
Well, they could be all that stuff, but at least it won't be very happy.
No,
unless you can come
they're
back.
They're not allowed to.
Unless you can rally back.
You can't have a luau if you have no pig.
5:35 to play. From the 40, it's 1st and 10. Arlington, a ball on the turf, and a 3-yard loss.
Do you know what you call a luau without a pig?
No.
Campfire.
So it looks like Broderick Burr in at QB now for Arlington with the score here 35-6. Edward Roy no longer behind center. Here's the turn and give. Rogers still in there. Kind of redirects himself, and he squelches up to about the 45-yard line. Lincoln Zepeda in on the tackle. Mark it to the 44, so a 4-yard gain.
Yeah, that first drive from Arlington where they gave it up, they really did move the ball great. They were getting a lot of yardage, and it's kind of shored up with this Patriot defense. They put basically 10 in the box, like I said, one-on-one on the receivers, and said, hey, beat us from the air.
Here's the give to Rogers. Nice block there by T-Bone, but Rogers ridden down. He gets the first down up to the 47-yard line. Donovan Moreno makes the tackle.
Yeah, T-Bone took care of business right here.
Devin Lyman didn't stand a chance. Moreno, the leading tackler for Patriot, the junior linebacker. That 3.53 for Aaron Randall has looked pretty good.
It's been smart. It's exactly what you're supposed to do against a team that runs the football.
From the 47-yard line of Patriot, this is Turner taking it up the middle. The ball loose. Looks like they fell on it. They got it, meaning Arlington.
You and I are going to be back tomorrow, Gazal, with the entire Riverside TV crew.
Is Pep going to be there?
Pep will not be there tomorrow. We're going to have Nick Rice will be on the...
Oh, that's right. Nick Rice on the sideline tomorrow.
Nick Rice on the sidelines is Riverside City College is playing College of the Canyons.
2nd and 10. The toss to Rogers. Gets through Pison, but the linebacker's there to clean it up.
Hey, how about RCC taking care of business, though, last week at Golden West?
Yeah. Edward Crespo in on the hit. They thumped him fairly prodigiously.
Put up 55 on him. Double nickels.
I mean, Golden West came in as the number 3 ranked team in the state, and Tom Kraft and the Tigers dismissed them.
They ate them.
Very rudely. The Rustlers didn't have any luck rustling Tigers. 3rd down. Turner still pushing second effort, and he'll be close to a first down. He may have got it. Very close to the first down. Moreno had his hands around him, and then he just kept moving, meaning Bijan Turner.
Did we give him a good spot? Nope. But you got to go for it.
It's a 4th down coming up. Ticking down to under 3 minutes to play here in the 3rd quarter. It's really been all Patriot. 2 touchdowns thus far here in the 3rd quarter. They've pushed their lead out to 35-6. 4th down play. They'll give it to the fullback. And on the second effort, he'll get it. He got the initial contact, but they couldn't hold it. Zepeda was in there among a couple of other white shirts, and Turner moves the sticks. Must be happy to have him back. They were missing him last week.
He's been a big difference. It would have helped to have him definitely last week.
So Mendoza resets. So double tight end on the left side. Shuttling into motion is Barajas to the near side. He resets. Rogers running right. Lopez the first man to him and then gets some help. Gomez helps finish it off. So maybe 2 yards up to the 35-yard line as we're under 2 minutes to play here in the 3rd quarter. 35-6 Patriot over Arlington. River Valley League opener for both teams.
It's starting to feel a little bit like fall. Nice
Yeah, it
and
is.
chilly.
Football weather. Tomorrow is October. Barajas at the top of the screen. That's Rogers in motion. The misdirection. This is Castillo, the tight end, the end around. To the 30-yard line, puts his head down, and he'll be close to a first down. Coming up and making the play is Sean Johnson for Patriot.
That was the best offensive play we've seen from Arlington all night, I think. I mean, it just looked.
Little misdirection.
Yeah, great play. And that was a big one you needed.
Give Aaron Randall some credit making the adjustment against Kevin Argumosa and their offense in that against the unbalanced line. That was a big key as Polito on 3rd down. Looks like he has it. Needed to get over the 34. Over the 33. I think he got it, and they'll move the sticks. Martin Mercado runs the offense for Kevin Argamosa for Arlington, and they run that double tight I formation, predominantly the run game. But they were wrinkling with the unbalanced line on that first drive and drove right down the field, and they really haven't had any kind of success doing that afterwards because of adjustments made on the defense by Patriot. As we're under a minute to play here in the third quarter, it's a 1st and 10 from the 27, ball on the turf. There have been some issues with the exchange, and that time Arlington will recover the football. Now, I know they've had to move some guys around on the offensive line. I was talking to Rick Covington walking in, and they've had to shuttle some guys around different positions, and center has been one of those spots.
Yeah, that's a bad snap there. Hit him in the ankle.
Now, that's Chris Correa, who's not normally a center. 2nd down. Here's the run by Rogers, and down he goes, but he gets up to the 33-yard line. Clock ticking. Hernandez there. Interesting story. Played as a freshman, didn't play the last 2 years, and then showed up again to play with his buddies his senior year.
Did you say why he didn't play? Was he in a band or anything?
Just to talk to Chris Fowler, he said, it just didn't come out. I think COVID was part of it.
I forgot about that, yeah.
That'll be the end of the third quarter. 35-6 in favor of the visitors. Ghazal Hassan with you, Jeff Gorham, Pep Fernandez down along the sideline. How about Pep? Can I compliment Pep a little bit?
No.
The hardest working man in the Inland Empire. He does these games with us. Then he races home to wrap up all the scores. And welcome to the booth, the principal at Rubidoux High School, Kevin Corridon, sliding in with us. Give him the headset, Jeff, if you don't mind. You mind if I call you Coach? I know you're not coaching anymore, but we have a little bit of a history, Coach. Have a seat.
I'm still coaching. I'm just coaching adults now.
All right. You got to find Pep when you go down there because he wanted to talk to you as well. So, principal, how's that feel?
It's just leadership in a different way, right? So now I'm leading a campus instead of leading a program. It's been fun. I'm running up here right now, so I'm a little out of breath. Just came from a volleyball game that we had at our school.
Now, I know we'll get into it. I know part of the reason you're here is you have a lot of affection for the gentleman on the other side of the sideline, and your son also is an Arlington graduate, or soon-to-be Arlington graduate. Here's Turner running left. He's dragged down by Pearson. 2nd down coming up for the home team. We're sitting down with Kevin Corridon. I saw you last week, and I wanted to reach out to you. You were on the field. Your son on the homecoming court. What's that like? I mean, you're still a young guy.
Yeah.
How's that feel?
Well, almost 50 now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no, it's good. My younger boys had such a great experience here at Arlington High School. Their leadership, their administration is just unreal. And it's just been such a great place for them. Baseball program with Coach Clevno and ASB. It's been awesome. And then my other boy, Jacob, being over at Patriot High School and helping out with the defense over there and starting to start his path and teaching and getting himself going.
Now, he's still in school right now, correct?
Yeah, he's at Arizona State online, wants to become a special ed teacher and a football coach. So he's got the football coach thing down.
4th down, Burr throwing, nearly intercepted, looking for Mendoza, coming over and making the play. Devin Lyman. Lyman makes the play, ball over on downs to Patriot. We're sitting down with Coach Kevin Corridon, and a lot of storylines, Coach. You started that program over there.
I did. I was blessed with Chris Fowler, who's now the head coach, and a lot of other gentlemen over there, and just it was a great experience. It's one of the reasons I'm back in Harupa Unified. It's just such a great district, and they've always taken care of me and really respected what I've done and honored what I've done and given me lots of different opportunities, such as the principalship at Rubidoux.
I was talking with Jeff earlier, so I'm reading Bill Parcells' book right now, and he talked about meeting Steve Belichick and then working with his son, Bill Belichick. So it's a little bit of a relationship here where you worked with Chris. He was on your staff at a couple of places, and now your son, Jacob, is working for him. What's that dynamic like? Does Chris talk to you about Jacob? Does Jacob talk to you about Chris, or did you stay out of it?
I try to stay out as much as possible. I'm very, very appreciative of Chris giving Jake an opportunity, and Jake has just caught fire with Patriot. He's done so many amazing things over there, and super proud of him and his efforts. It's really fun for me now as a principal. I'm out of the game, and he'll come home on a Friday night and want to sit down and talk football till 1 a.m. and break down plays and coverages. And it's awesome.
You still watch, Coach? Is the game still part of your life? Is it part of your life for such a long time?
Yeah, so as a principal, I do have Friday night duty. So I try to be at every one of our Rubidoux games. We're at Pacific tonight. We're up 35-6 at half and starting out league really strong. So proud of Coach Thompson and what the boys are doing over there at Rubidoux.
Second down coming up for Patriot. And looks like Payan in at quarterback. He'll hand the ball off. I believe that was Miramontes taking the handoff. Instead, that was Johnson on the carry, and the clock will continue to move. 35-6 here. Coach, it was always great working with you when you were over at King, and I'm happy things are working out. We saw you and your wife be able to spend time with your son. I know you were working a little bit. Last thing for me, you're working a little bit with Arlington baseball, right, a couple years ago?
Yeah, so when I first got out of coaching, Coach Klevno brought me over, and I was teaching special ed here, and he asked me to run the strength program for the baseball. And it was great to still be connected and be part of the program. And then Mr. Ybarra, Stephen Ybarra, the principal here at Arlington, kind of kicked me in the butt and said, hey, let's go, and got me into administration. So I've been in admin for 3 years, and through some of the mentors and tutelage I've had an opportunity to rise to the top. So it's been awesome.
I'll always remember that run you guys had in 2016 when you were at King. That was fantastic. It was great fun to watch and observe the development of that team as Lopez trying to get outside. He's done a great job all night. Still on his feet. He'll have the first down and get out of bounds. Kevin Corden, always great to talk with you. Thanks for jumping up and spending a couple minutes with us. Go down. When you go back down, find Pep Fernandez because he wanted to say hello to you too, the principal at Rubidoux. And thanks again for coming up and saying hello.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for all you do for high school football.
There's Payan trying to get to the outside, and that was Payan and not Lopez on the last run. Kevin Corden joins us. Hey, thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Coach, does he still have the coaching in him?
Oh yeah, you know he does. You know he does.
I think he was a realtor one time too, wasn't he? He is a man of many talents.
So here's a little bit of a change of pace. Sean Johnson takes the carry up to the 40-yard line. Third down coming up. I didn't have the guts to say it to him, but I remember when he was coaching, I always equated him. He was kind of like the Riverside version of Eric Taylor from Friday Night Lights, right?
Yes.
Because he was the coach, his wife was the principal.
Yes.
That was the same dynamic. But, yeah, just a good guy, you know.
Oh, great guy.
Just a good guy. So hopefully Pep gets a couple of minutes with him, too, and he can kind of break down the defense. Second down coming up.
Always good seeing him, a good friend, and everybody speaks highly of him. I wish he could be my principal.
I remember we did a game. It was King, and it was Santiago. This is when Jeff Steinberg was at Santiago, and they had Blake Barnett. And Blake Barnett, King was playing amazingly, but Blake Barnett was flinging the ball all over the field. Yeah. They could not stop him, and it was 48-35, and I walked down after the game, and Coach Corden was standing down on the field at King and kind of looks up, and he looks at me and goes, man, Jiminy Christmas, that guy can throw the football. And it was funny because Barnett had to get out of there because he was flying to Alabama the next day to go have dinner and breakfast with Nick Saban.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
Big-time stuff here. Remember Sherion Jones, also from Rancho Verde, who ended up at Tennessee before finishing up in New Mexico.
Look at this. Fairly close game here, 28-14. Orange Vista over North. But, I was talking over to Preston Anderson, who is the assistant basketball coach at North. He's working the clock here tonight for Arlington. He's a school district employee. He said, come over and work the game. His wife's over here working. And he said, hey, North played the toughest non-league schedule of anybody, and I agree. They just...
Payan takes it himself. He's got a first down and more. Finally tackled at the 30-yard line, bringing him down, Davion Boyd Phoenix. And he'll flip the field a little bit. I wonder, I'm guessing Patriot probably has close to 400 yards on the ground.
Easy. I would say more than 4. We'll find out tonight. We'll bet. We'll look up the stat line.
So clock continues to move. We're in the fourth quarter here, 35-6. And, we've been talking all evening about the River Valley League and how strong it is top to bottom. And now these early games are going to decide probably what the standings are going to look like. Normally you can ride it out a little bit, maybe absorb a loss or two. I don't think you have that luxury this year, Jeff.
You really don't. We've talked about it. They have gotten, top to bottom, to every team in the River Valley League had 2 wins going into tonight.
Yeah. Pep Fernandez on the sideline. What do you got?
Hey, what's up, guys? I just saw Coach Corden. He came on down to the sideline, so I appreciate that. But also, you were talking about, this Arlington defense going up against this Patriot run game, and Patriots probably got, 300-plus on the ground, maybe 400 yards by now rushing. Well, next week it will not get any easier, and I believe it is a Riverside TV game as Arlington will go up against that heavy run offense of Ken Batdorf and Norda Vista. So another run-heavy team next week looming for the Lions. Guys, back to you.
It's a very good point. I mean, this is going to prepare Arlington, having seen this defense, for Ken Batdorf and the Norda Vista Braves. What kind of music does Coach Batdorf like? Do you know, Jeff? Penalty marked off against Patriot. It'll move him back. It's still first down, but now it's 1st and 25. Sorry, Jeff. Go ahead.
He's a big Depeche Mode guy, and
no, he's not.
And Wham.
No, he's not.
He is. Loves George Michael.
I always thought of him as a Robert Palmer guy. 1st and 25. Here's the give. Inside the 40 to the 35-yard line. Running is Adrian Quince, the senior.
He's a fan of El DeBarge.
Really? The Rhythm of the Night.
It's gonna, yeah.
Because I like to call the Norda Vista offense the Heavy Nova offense. And that was an album by Robert Palmer back in the late 80s, early 90s. He was the one who did that Simply Irresistible song. I don't remember that
Robert
one.
Palmer. He was the original lead singer of
Power Station.
Yeah. Who else was in Power Station?
That was the supergroup, right? The Duran Duran supergroup. Duran Duran just played the Hollywood Bowl, I think, like a month ago. Under 6 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter. It's 35-6. And Patriot at this point, they're just trying to melt the clock a little bit. Here's the give to Quince. Quince rumbling on the left side. Pulled down at the 25-yard line. Making the tackle on the play, Chris Almendares. No, excuse me, it's Matthew Martinez. For Arlington, clock continues to move. We're at that 44, reminiscent of Floyd Little, among others. Sorry, I'm listening to the Parcells book, and they talk about Syracuse because Tom Coughlin played with Floyd Little. He played with Larry Zonka and Floyd Little.
Tom Coughlin looks like the Walking Dead.
They're both in the Hall of Fame. If he gets in the Hall of Fame, he's the coach. All 3 Syracuse backs from that wingback era. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Tom Coughlin is not Robert Redford. I agree with you, if that's what you're mentioning, Jeff. 3rd down.
He or Hubie Brown, which one's more?
Great football coach, though. Payan takes it. Bounces outside. Did he get the first down? He will get it. Right to the marker. So the clock will stop momentarily to reset the chains, then it'll keep going. Well, you know what? Mission accomplished if you're Patriot. They had the bye week. They were a little bit banged up. And Coach Fowler said something very interesting. He said, this is the first time in a couple of years that I've had depth where I could move guys around. In the past, we didn't have that depth.
He didn't. And to be honest with you, a lot of questions were because a lot of people haven't seen Patriot. Are they fool's gold? I don't think so because they're taking care of the CIF champs right now.
Well, that Novi game will be a big test, Jeff.
I'm looking forward to that one. That'll be fun to watch.
First down line is the 19. The give to Quince again, and he'll get Do down by Matthew Martinez. So Martinez getting an opportunity to maybe shine for Kevin Argamosa. Coach Argamosa runs the defense, so he's getting a chance to evaluate some guys maybe who wouldn't otherwise be on the field. Quince tries to bounce it outside. Very good play, riding his blocker and dropping the ball carrier.
And remember, even though Arlington just won a CIF championship, it is still a building.
It is. It is building.
It is building, and you're just because you won a CIF championship, last year, hey, you're still trying to create a culture because he came in a month before the season started and took over this program and really changed the offense 7 games into the season.
They didn't have a field, Jeff, until this year. Payan running, but he'll go down. That's Polito making the tackle. He's the transfer from Hillcrest. Adam Polito making the play. Under 3 minutes to play here. This game has gone by so fast, Jeff.
You know, and the halftime festivities went a little longer than we.
You got involved in that a little bit.
Well, I'm going to tell everybody what happened. Is that a lady? She was a lady. Came up and she messed with the clock, but she, instead of having the clock down, she pressed up, and I looked up and it was 25 minutes. I said, "Wait a second." So I went down and put 10 on it. She was a very, very lovely lady, but she messed up the clock.
Well, good day at the office for Brandon Lopez. 3 touchdowns today, and then a running touchdown for Isaiah Miramontes, who did a great job orchestrating this Arlington run game and the offense. Payan running to the outside. To the pylon. Is he in? Touchdown. 17-yard touchdown run. Accentuates the win. That's the coup de grace, they say, the exclamation point. The 17-yard run by Julian Payan.
Boy, since that first quarter, Patriot has really just taken control.
I mean, and then you got to be concerned if you're Arlington, the offense, that first drive, they could not finish it. And that's what Kevin Argamosa was talking about last week. He said, hey, we've been okay. I'm not all that concerned, but we need to learn to finish drives.
And they haven't done that in 2 games.
Madrid puts it through. You got to feel good for the place kicker, Freddie Madrid. He had just a nightmarish week a couple of weeks ago, and I think he's gotten redemption this week. He's hit every one of his 6-point afters.
You got to love fighting through the yips.
That's what it's all about, right?
Yes.
I mean, wins and losses, of course, is what you're looking at, but are you better in November than you were in July?
Yeah, exactly.
Or in his case, are you better on September 30th than you were on September 16th? And the answer is yeah. But, I mean, you laugh. You're a coach, so you get exactly what I'm talking about.
Do you know what the best part about me not coaching is anymore?
What?
I'm not coaching. I'll tell you what.
You enjoyed it, though, didn't you?
I did. It
was just time, right?
But we have a live look in. It looks like
Notre Dame in Texas.
Yeah, who is that? That's Orange Vista. So 28-14.
Coyotes knocking on the door. Minute 45 to play here, and the kickoff coming from Patriot, and they will kick it short yet again. I mean, that's what you got, and that's what you look at, and we've talked about it all game. Chris Fowler is playing this like a must-win game. I mean, you're up 42-6. There's no need to pooch it like that, but it's the mindset, right?
Yeah,
it's where you're at. He actually said something very interesting to me. He said, and just in terms of building culture, he said, my sophomores and juniors who had success at the lower levels, they're all gung-ho, ready to go. The seniors, they're bought in for the most part, but every once in a while you see that kind of the guy, something bad happens and they drop their heads. And he goes, no. He's like, my younger guys don't do that because they have an expectation of success. Under a minute to play, Arlington ball. Burr gives to Turner, and Turner rumbling up into Patriot territory. If nothing else, a positive for Arlington today. Bijan Turner looks like he's back and he's healthy and he's ready to go.
And I like Bijan Turner. I mean, he is into this game completely. He's gave it his all. I mean, you can tell he's limping a little bit, but man, he plays so hard.
It doesn't get any easier for the Lions. They head into the Braves' den next week.
And Batdorf's been in a bad mood, too. I don't know if that's a good thing.
Oh, is he having to eat just Leafs now? Is he on that leaf-only diet all
No,
of a sudden?
it's football season. He can't help himself.
Kanahay carries the ball, and that'll be it. The fourth quarter will tick out, and the gun sounds, and it's a 42-6 win, Patriot over Arlington. Fairly dominant performance, Jeff, by the Warriors of Patriot. Got to be impressed.
I was very impressed with the way they played. I mean, like I said, there was a lot of question marks out there, but the eye test showed that they are the real deal. And I'll tell you, they have a really good shot at a lot of these teams. They have a shot at Norte Vista, and they have a shot at Ramona. And those two teams I've seen are very good, but Patriot right there with them.
It all starts up front. And the front offensive and defensive lines were very stout for Patriot today. And I think Arlington should look at that and say, okay, we can do that as well. We have the pieces. We just didn't execute quite well today. We need to improve that next week.
And they are very, very close to getting back to where they were. It's just, hey, you got to be able to score the football. It's a game of score. It's not soccer.
And they struggled. They
have struggled there. So you got to get points on the board.
49 points against Corona on September 1st, and other than that, just 35 points over 5 games now. 42-6, the final today. Patriot over Arlington. We're efforting Pep Fernandez. He has got Chris Fowler, the winning coach. Let's throw it down on the field to Pep Fernandez and Patriots head coach and athletic director, Chris Fowler.
Hey, thanks, Gazal and Jeff. Yeah, we're here with Coach Fowler. 42-6, the final score tonight. Coach, I know it's only week 6. It's only your River Valley League opener. We still have a lot of football in front of us. But these are important games to get, right? Especially against a team like Arlington, who we saw got on a run at the end of last year. Why not you guys this year?
Exactly. You know, they kind of showed us the blueprint last year. You know, with the competitive equity format, you know, just getting into the tournament is the thing. So, you know, being 1-0 and just taking down that first league opponent, you know, it puts us on the right spot. And that's exactly what we preached all week. It didn't matter what our records were, just be 1-0 in league.
We know Josiah Felix is a special player. You missed him tonight. But Brandon Lopez, man, Swiss Army knife, running the football, catching the football, on the defensive side of the football. What can you say about what he did tonight? I think he had 3 touchdowns in all.
You know, he's just a senior leader. I know he's played in our program. He's an all-league guy for 2 years running. He's going to be all-league this year. So when you have senior leaderships like that, you know, you put him in different spots. And when Josiah came on, he didn't say one boo word about not getting as many touches. He knew he was going to do whatever we could do to get in the playoffs. So you love those kind of type of kids.
Great start to the league season, Coach. Congrats. Appreciate it.
You guys, thank you so much. Have a good day.
That is Chris Fowler, head football coach for the Patriot Warriors. Jeff, back up to you guys.
Well, thanks, Pep. Great job by you as always. Jeff Gorham, let's start with Patriot. You talked about it. There were the whispers, hey, yeah, they're 4-1, but who have they played? I think they made a solid performance tonight. It's league play. You want to start league play strong, and they did.
Well, I thought they played smart football. I mean, you look at the penalties. I mean, we're out of here early for a reason. That means you're playing good football. It means you're playing efficient football, and you're playing within the team setting. I was very impressed with Patriot.
If you're on the Arlington side of this one, Jeff, what do you tell your team, and what's the next step for Coach Argumosa and the Lions?
Well, you don't hang your head. You know, you're a CIF champ. You guys have been in this situation before. You lost 7 in a row, I think, last year to start the ball game or the season. You're fine. You just need to find your groove offensively. They haven't put the ball in the end zone from their offense in a couple games. They need to do something, but don't hang your head and say it's over. You just have to go back to the drawing table and make a few adjustments. They started great in the first quarter with that offset.
You've seen 4 teams now in this league. Give me a quick assessment between yesterday and today, what you saw, what you were impressed with.
I'll tell you what, Ramona is a scoring machine. Their offense is their defense, and they just have so many weapons. And the offensive line, I think right now, is the best offensive line by far in the city. They are protecting Nate Johnson. He's able to throw anywhere he wants. But I'll tell you what, you know, I've seen Norte Vista. Norte Vista is tough. They're mentally tough. They're physically tough, and they don't make the mistakes. They'll get after you. They'll fight you. But this is a very top to bottom, much better league than we've seen in years.
42-6 the final. Patriot over Arlington. So Patriot now 1-0 in league play. Arlington falls to 0-1. They get Hillcrest at their place to do the Warriors next week. Arlington heads to Norte Vista, and we will sign out here. The final score was 42-6. 3 touchdowns for Brandon Lopez. Isaiah Miramontes did a great job orchestrating the offense, the quarterback for Patriot, and a big tip of the cap to their defense and what the job they did against Arlington today. So, for Jeff Gorham and Pep Fernandez and our entire award-winning Riverside TV crew, my name is Ghazal Hassan. We'll talk to you next week. It's a 42-6 win for the Warriors of Patriot. So long, everybody.